You know what I have to say, man?
What's up?
Do you know why the 2 a.m. podcast has such high energy? Why we are just brimming with enthusiasm all the time?
Why?
Because we drink spring water, of course.
You know, I got to give it to spring water. It has really supported our last 3 years. It has given us the strength and will to wake up every morning. Just the smooth, endless, sweet flavor. And before you say, all water tastes the same, no, it doesn't. Spring water is elite.
That's why we have a dedicated episode to it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
But first of all, I want you to thank me for introducing you to spring water.
Yeah.
Although Zamzam water might actually be the elite.
Listen. I got to give you this. You brought a lot of information into my life about water and then spring water in general. Because, you know, sometimes when you see your peers, you know, stuck on a habit, you just ask questions. You can't help but do that.
True.
So now I'm in this journey as well. And I love it, man. I loved learning about France and the whole water system, different ways to clean and filter, what to do in like emergency situations, things like that, right? Real quick though, spring water, I always knew I liked that flavor profile more than mineral water.
Why?
Smoother. Tastes better. Is it just me?
It's not just you. Well, here's the thing. I think you have to have a palate for it. So it's difficult because if you've just tried tap water for all of your life, how are you going to have that palate?
I don't know, man. But like Drake said, this water's so good, you shouldn't have to drink for free.
Her loss, I guess. All right, so let's get into this dedicated episode. I'm very excited for it, but we have to start with the basics.
Yeah.
Water is fundamental to all life on Earth, correct?
True. Mm-hmm.
Here are some facts that a lot of people actually don't know. 60% of your body is made of water. Most people know that. 75% of your brain is made of water. And then we'll go down this list. 83% of your blood, 79% of your heart, 22% of your bones, 75% of your muscles, 85% of your liver, 83% of your kidneys, 30% of your skin, and 70% of your cells.
Wow.
So if you tell me that the quality of water does not matter when it comes to human health, you are kind of crazy.
Yeah. Sadhguru, remember what he said?
What do you say?
Your body is 73% water.
73% water.
Exactly. Just like that.
It also serves a number of important essential functions. So, as we mentioned, it's a vital nutrient to the life of every cell, and it serves as a building material. It regulates our internal body temperature by sweating and respiration. It is used to metabolize carbs, protein, fat, assist in flushing out waste from through urination. It acts as a shock absorber for brain, spinal cord, and the fetus. It forms saliva and then it lubricates the joints. So as we can see, water has this incredible potential to basically provide life for everything on Earth and keep things running.
Absolutely necessary. I think everyone's wondering exactly what they need to be wondering right now. And what are all these brands?
Yeah.
So I think ZAID, you're the expert on this because I know that like what he drinks all the time, I know, is a Mountain Valley spring water.
That's the green bottle.
The green bottle. It is amazing. I think it is you can easily find it for the most part.
Yeah, so most of these brands you can find at Mother's Market, Whole Foods, Sprouts, generally most health food stores. So the green bottle is Mountain Valley spring water. This one is called Castle Rock water. This one is Aqua Panna from the springs of Italy, I believe. And then this one I'd recently just discovered, which is Cascade Mountain. What does it say? Butte Falls? I don't know where that is specifically, but what is the common theme between these waters that you see?
Well, glass bottles, first of all.
Glass bottles.
The type of seal as well. It looks like it's aluminum or just kind of like your standard bottling. I noticed like with medicine, they like to use black glass. With this, it's clear. It's more on the clear side. What else? They're generally really clear.
They all say spring water.
They all say spring water, yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head for the first one. They're all stored in glass.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an indicator for all of you guys as to what you need to look for. Look for glass bottled water, because in general, that's going to be higher quality and it's going to be spring water. So anything else you want to say on that end?
Other than that, it's delicious and I can't wait to drink it after. Yes. Nothing. No.
Pick your poison, even though it's not
Are
poison.
they created equally? I don't know.
So this is really the crux of the situation. Not all water is created equal. A lot of people like to believe that all water is created equal because it just sounds like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, there are a variety of preparations, a variety of quality differs depending on how it was prepared, where it's stored, what is in the water, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, okay, real quick, personal experience. I know you probably obviously had to go through a water journey. So you've had plastic bottled water, right? Which,
yeah.
Honestly, I would say 90% of us drink out of. Like we're chilling,
Sure.
you know? And we got another 10% that just kind of likes the faucet, which is weird. But But we seem to not mind it because they're all over. They're at restaurants, you know. Even Voss is in plastic sometimes, you know.
Sure, yeah.
And we pay a hefty price for that, and we believe that it is good for you, but it's not.
Even Aquapana,
Yeah.
they have a plastic version.
Yeah, what's funny is that if you look at the grade of all these like waters that you drink that you're paying top notch for, oh man, you'd be surprised. You're gonna be like, what? A pH level of what?
What is this garbage?
Yeah, and it's just it solidifies the reality of water and branding, and like it's all about numbers per se.
Yeah.
You know, you got to find the good water, and these I would have to say are a good selection. But my question to you, I think, would be in your journey of picking your water, have you felt a difference in your athleticism or just in your general thinking, day-to-day life? Because I know, like, for example, me and you, we've always differed in the sense that the common people that were around us, we were slightly different.
True.
You know, they would cry about things we didn't really cry about, you know, like we were just kind of, I want to say outskirted, but
Different perspective, different experience. Yeah.
We were just kind of heavier on ourselves from different like perspectives. But water definitely has helped me with generally everything.
Yeah.
My sleep.
It sounds so stupid to
Yeah.
people who are like, oh, of course water helps you with all of those things. But as we're going into this, it's going to get a lot more complicated. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. You're going to see why, because it has a lot to do with, you know, the way your cells play, the way, dude, it's crazy, man. We're like,
But listen, great question from you. The number one quality that I've experienced in regards to the difference between municipal tap water, because that's what we'll call it, is generally what it is. Because plastic, like any water stored in plastic bottles, is generally either tap water and the companies lie to you, or just groundwater, which is not the same as, well, it's not the same quality as spring water. So the number one chief difference between the two is hydration status. And I want to know if you've experienced this. So no matter how many plastic bottled conventional waters I would drink, I would be 6-7 deep in after whatever, sweating or training session. For some reason, there would be a void in regards to my thirst. I would not feel hydrated at all. But if I have a quarter of a glass of spring water, hydrated, satisfied.
huh.
That's the chief difference.
That isn't that interesting. The biggest way to tell is your lips.
It's
And
your
that was for me at least. I noticed that I was drooling a lot more when I went to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, I would say the hydration was reaching levels to where my mouth was just moist in general.
Yeah.
A lot
I
more
get you.
moist than usual. And never looked back. You know, it doesn't mean I don't have, you know, the water in plastic bottles here and there. You know, we all go to parties and we do all kinds of things. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's unreasonable. But me, you got to switch to these.
And
You gotta
these are
switch the
not,
glass.
honestly, these are not that expensive, dude. Sure, you can find plastic bottled waters for 99 cents. These are $2.50. Are you really going to argue over the extra $1.50
No,
or
and if
$2?
you visit their websites, most of them have like catering services or delivery services where,
Sure.
you know, you can get loads of these.
Yeah. But that I think is the chief difference. And I don't know, have you experienced that in terms of like just hydration alone? Like for some reason you would not be satisfied by plastic bottled conventional water.
Yeah, you would feel stomach full,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you'd be like, you have the signal of, I drank water, I should not be thirsty. So you just don't drink water. The hydration method's kind of weird. With this, it's more like, oh, smooth sail. I feel the effects on my throat. I'm not as dry anymore. And it's not as harmful on my stomach. Like, I don't feel bloated.
Mm-hmm.
It's really smooth,
Yeah.
you know? And those are the differences. I think we need to learn as people the differences feeling wise, so that when you go through it, you know, oh, I can identify that. Boom, I just had terrible water.
It's all intuitive.
Yeah.
But this chart, this like pyramid, I want you to post on the actual video for the YouTube, but for the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of the hierarchy here, you have tap water.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a little bit of a meme, but it's rooted in truth. So tap water, we label as garbage, just not good for you. A level above that, we have distilled water. So it gets rid of the disgusting stuff in tap water, but along with it goes the good stuff. So usually reverse osmosis is the chief method that a lot of people use to distill water.
Mm-hmm.
But they're kind of like, that process strips it of both the good and bad. So it's kind of like antibiotics. When you take an antibiotic, it's almost like a nuclear bomb to your gut. It gets rid of the bad stuff, but it also gets rid of the good stuff. So that's very important to know. Usually with reverse osmosis, you want to remineralize the water with either trace mineral drops or some unrefined sea salt.
Unrefined sea salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a level above that is spring/groundwater. Now, when it comes to ground, it differs massively. But this is essentially the creme de la creme, made by God himself with all the essential trace minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's the good stuff.
Man, the best water I've ever had was in Spain, Granada, coming down.
Ooh,
Oh my God.
describe it.
The Sierra Nevadas. So it was summer, actually. It was really hot. I remember it was like maybe 111 degrees, 112 degrees. Sweating. I'm going to the Alhambra today,
Mm-hmm.
going uphill. There's a stream the whole way, right through the city.
Oh,
you
baby.
can just rush your hands through. And then every once in a good while, you'll see a stop, and it has like a fountain of water. You can go in there, and there's just fresh water coming out of these little lion heads.
I love that.
It's just so
That's badass.
cold, and it's so frosty and just smooth that you can feel it, bro, right between your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You just like rub it all over your face. The way it sits on your skin is different too.
You make love to it, huh?
You have to. I have a video of myself. Yeah, I'll actually post it right here if you need it, but
Why not?
whatever.
And did it taste different?
Tasted really good. Tasted metallic-y, but it was probably just because of the
Yeah.
real metal that it was pouring out of.
That's actually one of the problems we'll get into, but in general, I think that was like, I mean, Spain, other countries like that usually have their stuff on
Yeah,
when it comes to that.
That's what I hear from all the documentaries that I've seen, at least too.
Yeah. So another word for, we'll cover municipal tap water, we'll cover distilled, and then we'll go through spring water as well, the details in regards to all of that.
Hell yeah.
Municipal tap water is also known as dead water
Okay.
because
Not cool.
I'm a firm believer that water is, that it has this quality to it that makes it technically alive. Not in the sense of like you or I or any other animal is alive, but it has an essence to it
Mm.
that you can't get unless it's spring water. So municipal tap water, there are three main reasons why you want to avoid this stuff. First of all, it's loaded with toxic chemicals and carcinogens, many of which you've never heard of, including chlorine, chloramine, which is chlorine plus ammonia, prescription medication, birth control, fluoride, aluminum, and other heavy metals, and then herbicides.
Okay.
So if you're drinking straight from the tap, you're getting a lot of nasty stuff with that. Because the way that cities are set up, they're not filtering out all that stuff. They don't even know about
dude,
it.
let alone the calcium levels that are reaching from city to city are different
Sure.
levels. Different levels. Like I know my city is rated like an 80% plus terrible water grade.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've heard of other cities down there where it's like you just subtract 30%. You have better filtration, but
And you can go to their websites too, and they'll show you everything.
It's surprising, man. Like, and let's not, like, before we dive more into that, real quick, bad water, the thing that it does to you is that it really suppresses your body's ability to take in as many vitamins, in my opinion, through what? Our biggest organ, our skin.
Mm-hmm.
So hair follicles is a big one. We infest it with all these chemicals like shampoos, and most shampoos that we use have terrible products in them, and in chemicals that are just gonna annihilate your scalp, and it's gonna feed into your blood system, and it's gonna turn into a disaster of a cycle. So in the long run, you're gonna lose hair, you're gonna have really terrible skin, you're gonna start wrinkling quicker.
Yeah.
It sucks just because of dirty water. And I'm beginning to learn this, and by beginning I mean the past 3 years. Hair really did it for me. Like I'm like, why am I losing hair? Why are people losing hair? What is going on with that? I've taken, pictures from the past and then pictures today of people from the same age groups, and they're diminishing.
Yeah.
I have like an obsession with that, and that's what got me to believe that water is a problem. Once I started looking into shower filters and doing all these things.
That's a rabbit hole, bro.
So, for example, I did an experiment once. I slept over at my friend's house. I actually asked him. I was like, "Can I sleep over at your house? Sleep over there and just shower at your house for a week. I'm gonna bring my products and whatever." He's like, "Yeah, no worries." He was right next to the gym, so I was like, "It's cool, like I'll go over, shower." I didn't even have to sleep over half the time, and it was fine. The reason why I did that was because he has a filtration system for his house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like a full-on.
Yeah, rich guy.
Yeah.
Just, I never had that, so I'm like, let me try this out. Guess what, bro? 1 week of using the same oils, same this, same that, everything. Nothing changed from product-wise, but I switched the water. Guess what happened? Baby hairs came out.
Really?
Baby hairs came out.
And you could objectively get a sense for that.
Mm-hmm. I could do before and afters. I could do it again if I want as an experiment. And I guarantee you it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, hair loss is one of those things that there are a lot of factors, but the quality of the water that you bathe in is everything, dude.
My hair, bro. I was starting to have movie hair, bro. Like, just like, it's so thick, and like, I can't even see the parting anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it was so nice. And now I'm reverting back. Why? Because I'm back to really bad water. Now I'm going to be moving out soon and all this stuff, but like, still, dude, I can't take it anymore. Like, it sucks that the most free and most healthy thing for you is doing this to you,
And a lot of people don't think about the shower and the quality of the water that they're bathing in. I've covered this quite a bit in the past.
Yeah, we just think of, oh man, I had gym today, so I need to hydrate. And then we just,
yeah,
good to go.
Yeah.
Might as well freaking drink Gatorade at this point.
And your skin absorbs, what, 60 to 70% of what you put on it? So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, water as a whole is an issue. It may not just be consumption, but it's everything as a whole.
Yeah.
But we do consume it the most, so we need to establish like a good definition of what real water is.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
And it's not obvious, like I mentioned earlier. It's just most people are just lost when it comes to this stuff because they just don't know. They're ignorant.
Yeah.
Another reason why you want to avoid tap water is because it's devoid of all the necessary electrolytes and trace minerals that your body needs. So spring water, as you naturally find it, it flows through rock. It's formed with all the specific trace elements that you need, such as calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, all that stuff. So with tap water, you're just not getting it. And we covered this a little bit a long time ago remember that one clip we put out? When you consume tap water and just consume that, then you have a net loss on all of your minerals within your body because you're not providing your body with anything that it needs.
Any nourishment whatsoever.
So you have to tap into your internal stores and essentially you just piss it all out.
I wouldn't say, okay, this is where people are going to argue, like, you're not going to get any nutrients at all. No, that's not true. Okay, you will get some minerals and electrolytes and whatever.
Barely.
But what we're saying is your body is demanding way higher amounts and we're barely feeding the minimum, barely, right? The minimum is what we define as a lot of water today.
Yeah.
That's insane.
We're fundamentally dehydrated as a
So
society,
imagine taking the same amount of water and now you have more minerals and more nourishment.
Not even the same. I'm a firm believer that you can take in less of the spring water and get more.
I know, but that's essentially what it is, because if I'm saying, imagine swapping the amount of water with good water that you're having. Like if you claim to have a lot of water, imagine the difference that would make in my mind. Insane.
It's everything.
You're feeding your body finally.
Yeah.
Your body's doing this. Thank you.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
And that affects like how well you sleep, how well you perform in the gym, how well you think.
100%, dude.
Everything.
Let me tell you a story, okay? There was a time where I was a night owl, and this is where I developed LVN media, and like I developed like my photography skills and editing and all that stuff. And I was working with people left and right, day and night. People were in my garage at like 4 a.m., dude. Insane. Like that's when they would show up.
Yeah.
And I had trouble sleeping for the longest time. I remember it lasted about 6 years.
That's a long time.
So that's a little more than half a decade, which is insane, because I was like, dude, I remember sleeping in high school and it was amazing.
Yeah.
What happened to that? Let alone dream, right? People are like, do you dream? I'm like, let me sleep first, you know? That's the type of person I was. And what do you know? Water really, just like people told me, like, oh, your face looks better now, and you starting to look a lot healthier. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm starting to sleep. Oh, I didn't know you weren't sleeping, first of all. But like, how did you do it? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just slept one day. Like, I was just like, I don't know. I just stopped caring as much, maybe. Yeah. You know, whatever. And what do you know? The only diet change was I switched my water. Like, I started saying, no, bad Kirkland. I hate that crap, right? Screw you, Arrowhead. I know you did me well in the past. You used to come out amazing from the ice cold. And then just
not anymore.
None of that, dude.
Yeah.
Stater Brothers. Oh God, get the hell out of here. Like anything that said purified drinking water.
We're just big on quality. Like I know you're big on aesthetics. I am too. It's just it's a different level.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than the sum of its part. Or it's bigger than all of the individual parts, right? You come out with something that's just, it transcends everything. It's just quality. That's all I can describe it.
Quality. Well, good point. If anyone's into tea, you know the difference in quality. You know, if you're into coffee, you know the difference in quality.
Yeah. Apply that to water.
Right? At the end of the day, they all taste like coffee, if you ask me. Right? After trying every one of them on different occasions, you're going to be like, wow, this one really stood out. Why? Different quality.
And
That's
case in point, water sommeliers are experts at quality of water.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of them like really sample a hard water. They call it like a hard water or a smooth water. I don't know. But apparently the pH level is so high that you get high off of it.
I mean, sure, yeah, I'm sure.
In some way.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm
sure
sure
that, like, you know, for show, they kind of just have to act it out a little bit more. You know, just kind of like, hold me, bro. You know, like,
Cash me.
Cash. pH level 132.
No, that's facts.
Super Saiyan 3 pH levels, bro.
The last part of the tap water that we're going to discuss is what it's stored in. So plastic. You don't want that stuff because water is a solvent. So whatever you store it in, it's going to leach into it, you know? So
I mean, that makes sense.
Microplastics are a big problem these days across the board.
Doesn't that strike you as common sense though?
But it's not.
No. Doesn't it? I mean, think
most people don't even know that water is a solvent.
You spill water on a desk. You think it's just going to sit there?
No.
It might take 12, 17 hours, but it'll seep into the desk eventually. Well, depending on,
or it'll
if it's
evaporate
wood,
somehow.
of course, if it's wood.
Yeah.
So like, or evaporate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not
so like, it's just, that's kind of like the nature of water. It sponges into things, or it makes things into sponges. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would assume that it would try to take some of the residue of whatever it lies upon.
It absolutely does. And other things included are like xenoestrogens, which are toxic chemicals that disrupt your natural hormonal system. So it's a big problem for men. Estrogens basically mimic estrogen within the body. So
Yeah.
it lowers your testosterone and then raises your estrogen.
Well, here's the thing. Think of that as a whole, as a mass whole. Let's just say around the world, we have relatively healthy water, I would say. America, nah, right? We can start with Michigan and we'll go from there. But
Michigan.
it's a hellhole. Yeah.
Yeah.
So think of what that's doing to us today. So the past 20 years, what have we developed into? Transgenderism, gayhood, just
gayhood's an interesting word that I've heard of.
Just whatever. That's how I choose to describe it. But it's like we get all these ideas, and I'm not just going to stop there, right? But we get all kinds of ideas. Like we got all kinds of organizations. We got people that are after just killing people. We have people that are after just spreading their fetish. We have so many things, right?
Yeah.
And it's, what is that? What is the leading cause of anything that seems disruptive to any morality or any like reverse way of humanity?
Well, that's a tough question, but I mean,
but
certainly,
for most people, from anything that I listen to or read or from any expert out there, it's usually hormonal, psychological,
big time,
mental, right? Some type of thing. Okay, what affects the mental? Hormones, right? Have you ever heard of, yo, she's on her period, like, just be cool, leave it be, you know? You don't know what to do,
just
right?
leave it be, bro.
Right?
No, it plays a huge part.
It plays a huge role because she ain't thinking right, bro. And I hate to say it that way, but that's kind of like how people will listen.
That's a controversial opinion to a lot of people, but there's some truth to it.
There is a lot of truth to it. I wouldn't even say some. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth, and you can deny it all you want, but it's still going to sit there as truth. And we haven't really crossed a giant barrier with it. We're still learning about it, but so far there's truth.
It's the way it is.
ED what it eat.
So you have anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Like, I think it's just super awesome that you can look at that and see how the world has transformed. And it's just like the biggest thing that we do daily, or the most important thing to keep us alive besides breathing, is drinking water, which is side by side to oxygen.
So no plastic bottles.
And that can literally ruin your testosterone, estrogen.
Well, dehydration can kill you.
Yeah. Well, DHT, I'm saying like the lack of minerals, or like the, what is it called that's in it?
The xenoestrogens, the chemicals. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I fully agree, bro.
Is it not insane? Like, I'm like literally, I'm just talking about it. I feel like we need a crowd in here that is just like, oh my God, bro, that's
holy
crazy.
Shit.
But yeah, let's start with water, man.
Yeah.
Literally everyone, if you're listening to this, please pick up some good water. If you need help, DM us.
If you need help, watch this episode.
Yeah,
in depth.
Literally. And if you're at the store and you're like, hey, I need help, take a picture. We will respond.
We will. I will personally respond. So.
I will respond. Okay. Moving on.
Moving on. So distilled water. We don't need to go into depth on this, but essentially what I explained earlier, you need to remineralize that water because it's essentially still dead water. Now we get into spring water. So what we consider living water.
Okay.
And this is where things get very interesting. It's a deep rabbit hole that a lot of people are not aware of. So spring water, as we mentioned, contains all of the full spectrum of trace minerals and electrolytes, which your body needs. Perfect. It has, in regards to the hydration status, the reason why spring water is superior is because it actually hydrates your cells intracellularly, which means it hydrates the inside of your cell.
Oh.
So this is why it has a different quality based on how it's produced. Tap water does not do that. Tap water does not supply the water necessary intracellularly.
So think of the cell as a lung, and you're not feeding it air for it to expand. You're just,
I mean, sure, every cell is covered, like its surrounding body is water.
Yeah.
So
I like to do that though. I like to put it into like realistic experiences.
Yeah.
Like breathing.
I wish we had a picture of a cell, but we don't. Anyways. Yeah. Thirdly, spring water is structured while all of the other options are not. And this is where we get into the work of Viktor Schauberger, who I am a big fan of. I've done a lot of research on him.
Damn, Viktor Schauberger with a side of ketchup. That's what's up.
This is where it goes deep. Okay.
Yeah. Deep in the fryer. Okay. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
So think of Viktor Schauberger as the Nikola Tesla of water. He was an Austrian forester. From a young age, he was absolutely obsessed with nature. And eventually he found his way into becoming obsessed with the quality of water, how it works, how it moves, and how he can harness that for energy.
Okay.
That was his main work. Only that. So this gets into the idea of implosion energy as opposed to explosion energy.
Okay.
And I'm going to read a few things based off of his ideas. So his research increasingly leaned towards the field of energy. Consequently, he developed the implosion theory. It states that energy generation by means of an explosion, petrol engines, nuclear energy, is destructive and harmful to the environment. I mean, just think about what an explosion does to an environment, right?
Yeah, clearly.
Implosion, on the other hand, means an increased concentration of energy. Typical examples of such energy in the natural environment are a whirlpool or a whirlwind. So this is a much more holistic approach to energy production, and it mimics nature. Viktor Schauberger was big on copying the mechanics and the rules of nature and implementing that into technology.
Very cool.
Oh, bro. It's like, when I first heard of this, I was like, holy shit. It's an entire new world that opened up.
Yeah. This is like discovering sound waves.
Yeah. I mean, so the implosive energy quality of water produces coolness, suction, powerful vortices, which the vortex we're going to discuss, and then a myriad of health benefits to the human body. It's used to build up and energize and is therefore life-enhancing and life-promoting. So I want you to think about a natural spring.
Mm-hmm.
What is the main quality around a natural spring in nature?
Mountain,
Or I'm curious to hear your answer on this, because
rocks.
Think about it deeper. Like, what do you look for with aesthetics?
Light?
Beauty.
Beauty.
The natural environment is beautiful.
Well, okay, well, you can't ask me that. And it should be like, well, beauty's everywhere, though.
It's not everywhere. If you go to downtown Long Beach, well, I mean,
like I can, but like, yes. Okay, I get you now, though. I get you. I guess it is surrounded by beauty in a sense of like what I call light.
Sure.
Light defines what beauty is to me.
Yeah.
Like, which is like, oh, this is a perfect angle right now.
But my point is that this implosion energy, it's largely responsible for the way that nature looks. It's beautifying to the human body and to all organisms on the planet. Okay. Life generating, so to speak. Now we'll get into the behavior of water. Schauberger was fascinated by how water behaves, creating vortices, generating energy, and purifying its immediate environment. From his observations, he formulated a unique theory of hydrodynamics. This is where we get into the vortex. The inward moving and twisting water vortex held the secret to its usefulness and benefit. According to physics, vortices build upon one another in a system that's coordinated and phased together. Bigger forces are released when water is allowed to build. These forces build or condense biological systems. There's an extraordinary amount of energy packed within those systems, okay? They also create what Schauberger called dia-magnetism, an opposing force to gravitation that enables life forms on the surface of the earth to grow skyward into the air.
Okay.
That's why trees grow up.
Yeah. Everything that you see kind of naturally goes up. Like if you plant a piece of garlic, it's going to go up.
Yeah. It's just the natural life force of trying to attain as much energy as possible. From what he observed of water, Schauberger invented home power plants and a water implosion turbine. It drew in air that spiraled in such that the diamagnetic field created tremendous force. So I want you to think about a whirlpool.
Okay.
This is where we get into the vortex. If you study whirlpools and you actually do tests on them, what you'll find is that it has an incredible amount of energy, moving like billions of gallons of water if it's a really big one. Eventually, it gets sucked down into this one nexus point or like origin point where all of the energy is stored. Once you hit that point, things actually move up due to that energy. And I posted a video of this on my Instagram. I wish I had it, but it shows a stick going through a vortex, a little whirlpool.
Oh, yeah.
And it goes around, it funnels its way down. And then all of a sudden it shoots off somewhere else. You can see the incredible amount of energy being forced into one direction.
Like a UFO. Just...
Sure, yeah. Let's see what else.
That looks so sick.
Bro,
it's a water tornado.
It is one of the most, a water vortex is one of the most beautiful things in nature.
It's so shiny and everything. Dude, oh my God, look at that.
Beautiful. So the vortex is partly responsible for structuring the water in such a way that makes it hydrating at the cellular level. And it creates electrical charge, which we'll get into later. What I also want you to notice is, what does this look like?
Tornado.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same concept with a tornado. You have cool air mixed with hot air. It hits a certain point, creates a vortex, and just think about the amount of power.
Yeah, there's a balance point
has.
where they both just charge. And boom.
Bro, I have goosebumps thinking about it. Like,
that's insane. Yeah. Dude, we gotta watch Twister after this.
We're gonna watch Twister after this. So bear with me. There's a lot of information. Viktor Schauberger's work was incredibly precise because he was the student in nature, or he was the student and nature was the teacher. As I said, he lived by his motto, comprehend and copy nature. So he essentially viewed water as a living being and looked up upon nature as a beautifully interconnected whole. And through his inventions and writings, he's become a conduit to a kind of spiritual science of nature's subtle energies. I want to pause real quick. Do you have anything you want to say? Because that was a lot of info.
I mean, honestly, dude, it's just... It doesn't surprise me that something as slight as water carries all that weight, you know? Because just listening to Bruce Lee when I was younger, and even today, it's relevant. Let's just be water, you know? It's flexible. It can produce massive amounts of energy. Undefeated. Right. Think of the ocean.
It's a perfect example.
Navy SEALs. Even a Navy SEAL can die. I was looking through this on Reddit, and sometimes, dude, even a Navy SEAL, you're unmatched. If the ocean is ready, done. It's just water, right?
Yeah. And I was watching a video yesterday, actually. I explained a little bit of it to you. But there are a few examples of really large whirlpools in the ocean. Like around Japan, around Norway, and the amount of energy these things produce, they can take down entire ships.
Bro, oh my God. Remember what I was telling you the other day? There was a whirlpool from a pipe from a man-made lake that killed a 10-year-old, and her younger brother was holding on to her because she was getting sucked in, and he was getting sucked in too. So he had to let her go, and her parents and everybody watched her die. They went looking in for her, but they couldn't. And it was this whirlpool. Started off like a little dot. It just sucked her all the way in, and they had to dig her out. They had to cut the pipe and drain it. It took like 5 days. That's insane, dude.
It's terrible, but it just goes to show the power.
Yeah.
And for any of you who are on, like, go to YouTube, search up natural whirlpools. You'll find videos of them sucking in entire trees. Whatever you throw into it, it'll get rid of.
Dude, like unbelievable stuff. Cars.
We need to do an experiment like that.
No.
Big ass whirlpool.
Well, actually, should we? We turn into the slow-mo guys? Oh, man.
Okay.
All right.
So
today we're going to be doing an episode around 500 miles per hour.
Now, to build off of Viktor Schauberger's work, we get into the work of Dr. Gerald Pollack, who is one of the primary experts at studying water structuring. So this is about how spring water is structured in a specific way that makes it superior.
Are you talking about enzyme-wise? Like elements?
It's way more than that.
Okay.
So water can come in 3 different forms, right? You have solid, liquid, vapor. But the work of Dr. Pollack revealed that there's actually a 4th phase of water, which is what he called easy water.
Easy water?
Yeah. So easy water is a special form of water that forms in your cells. It's like a charged battery. It can store energy and deliver it to cells that need it to function. It also makes your mitochondria stronger and acts as an antioxidant. So the experiments that he ran here, and we have a little picture that we can put on the video for you. He put like this gel or any certain material in the experiment Then he put bulk water. And then what he found is that actually structured water, spring water, has this exclusion zone, hence easy water. And it basically buffers anything material-wise.
This to me looks like the matrix codes with gaps in between.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the structure of spring water. Okay.
And the interesting thing is that these easy layers are actually made up of H3O2. If you start counting the number of hydrogens and oxygens, not water molecules, H2O.
Okay.
So spring water is not H2O.
It's H3O2.
H3O2.
I bet you a lot of people didn't know that.
No.
I'm learning that for the first time right now. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what you can see are these layers in between where you find the exclusion zone. And you can see the different hydrogen oxygen bonds. Furthermore, with his experimentation, sticking electrodes into the easy water shows a lot of negative charge in that zone. And then let me go here. So basically around these two, what cells you want to call them, there's a negative zone around each one.
Sure.
And that creates a positive charge
Towards,
in between.
Sure.
So the opposite charge is the reason why aerosol droplets come together. And it all makes sense from this perspective. This is why clouds are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, even though this goes against conventional science, like water droplets are not supposed to spend a little bit, a few seconds on top of the surface of other water.
Yeah.
You have lizards that are able to walk on water.
That's true. So these are
spring water.
These are easy layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he even did an experiment where in between two beakers, he put easy water in between them, and up to a certain point, I think around like 6 centimeters or something, created a bridge.
That's insane.
It holds energy and it holds structure.
Okay, so that tells me a lot about Jesus' time. But yes. Why is this useful?
Because we can create free energy from water. Okay? This is exactly why the powers that be were scared of Nikola Tesla. Mm-hmm. He did a lot of research into electricity, and Viktor Schauberger, who did a lot of research on water and how we can utilize that for universal free energy.
I see.
It's like, it's esoteric. It goes really deep. So, those two opposing charges next to each other serve as a battery made of water, so you can extract charge from it. Now, what recharges that battery? Sunlight and infrared light.
Going back a couple episodes.
Yeah. Your kitchen plant gets energy from the sun through photosynthesis. The same thing happens in water. It's no surprise since the plant is mostly made from water, the water absorbs the energy and converts it into some useful work.
Ooh.
So same concept applies.
My favorite thing that I remember my mom used to do was take the whole pitcher out and put it in the sun, like on a Sunday.
Yep.
We just drink water out there, and then we'd bring it back in, and that water actually apparently was just better for you. That's what was told to me. But
that's the thing.
You really can't feel effects, when you're that young or, still developing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And your cells go through a similar process akin to photosynthesis. Light is absorbed, converting it into charge, separation, and then these charges are used by your body. So as you can see here, I believe this is the mitochondria.
Mm-hmm.
And these cells are full of easy water.
Yeah, and if you don't know what the mitochondria... I'm just kidding. It's the powerhouse.
It's the powerhouse of the cell, baby.
Oh, God, I love that.
Let's take a moment to pause. There's a lot of talking.
Do you guys like Zins?
We love Zins.
We love Zins, especially with my spring water.
Do you have any last thoughts? Because we are nearing to the end of the episode.
Any last thoughts?
As we can hear hawks.
Just the fact that I do not have a pool really pisses me off. That's the only thing about water that I hate, but that's it.
Yeah. So let's get into the practical takeaways.
Hell yeah.
Because I want people to take some actionable stuff from this. So
we need some real life actionable things.
Very true. Number one is always aim to get glass bottled spring water, as you can see here. Mm-hmm. Our go-to choices are Mountain Valley spring water, Castle Rock.
Just so you know, we're not lying.
Aquapana, and then what is that called?
Moscow. I'm kidding. It's Cascade
Mountain.
Damn, dude, Cascade, and where's Dead Mouse?
So that's your main. That's the water you want to focus on.
Yeah.
Number 2 is avoid plastic bottled water or drinking from the tap. Number 3 is to use a reverse osmosis machine. That's another option. You can go to your local business. They usually offer reverse osmosis water. And then what you want to do is add either concentrate trace minerals to it or unrefined sea salt. Number 4 is aim for a minimum of half your body weight in ounces a day.
Back to sea salt. A lot of people ask me, wouldn't it just be salty? What's your answer?
You don't need to like dump the entire thing of salt in there. Just add like half a teaspoon.
What I do is I put 3 or 4 large grains of that sea salt. Like I'll open up the bag and just pick them out myself.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to put that much.
And again, we can get into salt, but unrefined mineral salt is totally different than conventional sodium chloride. Those are two wildly
completely
different
different. Yeah. Do you salt episode? No, I'm kidding.
We could.
We cover soy and everything you need to know.
So for those who really want to upgrade the quality of their water, consider buying a structuring device like the Mayu Swirl Pitcher. Swirl it for 10 minutes and you'll notice how soft the water is after using the device. I have this device. I've actually been in talks with the company. We might do something there, but I have videos of that on my Instagram. It's a fascinating little device that creates a mini vortex.
So sick.
It's proper. What else? You can let your glass bottled spring water sit out in the sun for a few minutes. It's another option too.
UV, good shit.
And then last but not least, if you care to go deeper on the subject, study Viktor Schauberger, Dr. Gerald Pollack. Those are two amazing resources.
It really runs you down like throughout the experiments and the steps of experiments too. Like everything. Everything from when they started all the way to the end, it was about the same thing. And you get to see their trial and error, and it's pretty fascinating.
So anybody who tells you that this is not grounded in science is wrong. This is not pseudoscience. We have the science to back it up, thanks to Dr. Gerald Pollack. And from there, just make sure you get your glass bottled spring water.
Yeah, I think we just need to pay more attention as to what comes into the United States and what gets produced here, because it's just, honestly, we're on a bad roll. If this was Guitar Hero, we lost the streak. I'm sorry.
Bro, we've been losing. We never got a streak in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we seem to be doing well with Lucky Strike and American Airlines back in the 50s, but not anymore, huh? All right, well, if you enjoyed taking a dive with us into this episode, you can swim on out of here.
You vortex your way out of here.
I don't know, guys, but that is water for you. Go ahead and pick us up. Pick us up.
Yeah, pick us up by giving a 5-star review on Spotify.
Pick up a fresh glass of water today and let it sit out. Let it bathe out in the sun. Let it shine in the UVs.
Oh, God.
And mass produce and...
No. Take care of your body, people. That's all I'm going to say.
Go ahead and check us out. We're on YouTube at the 2 a.m. podcast. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major streaming platforms. Rate us a 5-star review if you can. And yeah, catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.